English translation, 197th contact, Tuesday 29th of October 1984, say 0:38 hours.
From now on, it should be such that we no longer address all the old concerns regarding the group members, as well as the matters surrounding Lee elders, for your health's sake. Your health condition is really very vile, so we fear the worst and do not want to burden you with all the troublesome concerns anymore. We have well covered and discussed everything, and we determined that it should not have been possible for you to have been able to complete the work, yet. It is incomprehensible to us that you are still able to do this, in spite of the evil consequences of your collapse in the early morning of the 4th of November, 1982. It is mysterious to us as to where you got your strength and energy, because from a human physical perspective, it should not have been possible that you could complete the work yet. From now on, you should no longer be confronted with the wretched things of the past and present, but rather only with the conversations and interests that are unrelated to these, so that you have more peace and quiet. In order to guarantee you this, we have also decided to no longer transmit our joint conversations to you in the future, because your powers and energies are used up too much by the telepathic transmissions, and you are brought to the brink of exhaustion. At the same time, we think that since all our conversations, etc., are stored by us anyway, we can still transmit these to you at a later time, when you get back up to full strength again and cope with all the evil precipitations, and when you have gotten, along with the subsequent troubles appearing for the rest of your life, and have learned to master these yourself. Then, regarding these later transmissions, it will be a question of whether the group members have an interest in these. Consequently, they will then have to decide whether the contact conversations should still be transmitted.
I understand your behavior and your decisions. However, your contacts will not last for all too long anyways, because these will end in 1986 since the 11-year cycle will be concluded.
That is of correctness. But other steps were already taken as a result of your collapse and the resulting consequences for your health, so we retain the right to maintain the contacts further, about which you will be notified at a later time also by Ptah, and it will be made understandable when he will officially continue to maintain the contacts with you, starting from the end of the year 1989. Until then, the still ongoing contacts will be continued by me, after which I will then take my leave for a long time, because I will have to turn myself to my duty of becoming an Ishwish, one who is great in knowledge and wisdom.
Ah, that is pleasing. I mean with respect to your becoming an Ishwish.
Also, Sim Yase will attend to this duty in the future, indeed in the Dal universe.
Nice to hear.
What I would still like to explain today is that in the coming years, we will intensively devote ourselves to your secret that surrounds you. Even though we have already won some important insights, the whole thing is still so obscured that we cannot make ourselves a clear picture. However, one thing has been certain to us for 7 days, namely, that we were very strongly mistaken, unfortunately, about you and your value, and that you know a lot more than what you have previously revealed to us. In the meantime, we also know that, against better knowledge, you have often presented yourself to us as ignorant, and that, especially in relation to the spirit teaching, you possess more knowledge than we do. Why you have done and still do this, we have not been able to fathom yet, but the coming time will surely unveil the mystery to us, if you do not explain yourself in these matters. Certain old records have pointed out to us that Ptah's father, Sfath, knew very much more with respect to your personality and your mission, as well as with respect to your happier personalities and the origin of your spirit form and all related things. Only why we have not received from him any exact and deeper explanations and information about this is unknown to us.
Do not lead me into temptation, and do not drive me into the devil's kitchen. I understand your illusion and your desire very well. Sorry, but I may not lend you and all others a helping hand because you must be anxious about this yourself in order to find out everything. When I was just a boy, I gave Svath my promise at that time that I would be silent for so long until you figure out everything yourself. This has its specific reasons, but you also must sift through them on your own. You know that I cannot speak and may not speak because a promise should not and must not ever be broken. Nevertheless, if this would happen, then this would be treason, namely against Svath and against honor, against myself as well.
I understand that very well. And in my hidden attempt to elicit a few things from you, I had not thought of that because I was not aware that you gave Svath a promise in relation to this.
No malice from either Svath or me lies behind this, but rather, it finds its justification in very important matters, which you must fathom yourselves, nevertheless, which again has its certain meaning. For this reason, it would be very dear to me and right if these things were no longer spoken of in the future, namely up to that time when you have fathomed the mystery.
That will probably still take a few years, but for you, that does not really matter, because you have completely different concepts of time and a lifespan that stands in no relation to mine.
When I am old and gray and dead and rotting, and my spirit form already lives a long time again with other, new personalities, and in new bodies, you will still be young and crispy and only be in the first third or in the prime of your life. This, then, is my and your destiny.
That is of absolute correctness. I take note of your desire, and so, from now on, I will no longer speak of your secret, and will only do this again when we have fathomed this. If it should be such that it does not fall any more in the time of my current contacts with you, then it will be Ptah or someone else who will address you again on this. So it should be.
Thus, we will be able to bring other things to speak of in the future.
That is of correctness. And if you have any special requests here, then I would be happy to meet these.
Thanks. Maybe we can talk about world events and what will come in this regard, even if this will avail nothing as predictions, as we have seen all these years. But surely there are still many other things that we can talk about.
That also is of correctness. But for today it should now be enough, because your appearance and health status are not the best. You are tired and exhausted, so I would like to end my visit and the conversation. You should be anxious for peace and for your welfare. Goodbye.
Bye, and until the next visit. Take care.